Now, Betty, what are we going to do tonight?
I'm gonna kick some ass!
Welcome to Chicago, where the fire serve cold, but the Wolves and the Hawks never shiver in the snow. The Bulls keep it running, the Sox run the South, the Cubs run the North, but the Bears run the house. True Chicago sports fans got their ears to the street. Any team make a move, and they never skip a beat. And in this house, this is where we be. Welcome to the show with E-Rock and Big Z.
Welcome to Chicago. Coming from the True Chicago Sports Fan Cave, this is the TCSF podcast with E-Rock and Big Z. He's back.
I'm back, baby!
Keep your acapullias over there, bro. Episode 86 is brought to you by 606 Media, True Chicago Sports Fans, ACSI, and Grit Clothing Company. Don't forget to go to gritclothingco.com and get your official TCSF podcast t-shirts. Search for keyword True Chicago and use our promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off your entire order. That is TrueFan15. Go and get your official TCSF shirts now.
Ahora
mismo. As always, I am Big Z, and I'm here with my boy E-Rock. What up, E?
What's up, Z? What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is my best Mike Logic impression of E-Rock. And
Here we go.
Welcome to the show. If you are a first timer or a long timer, please remember to hit that subscribe button, that notify button, and go ahead and give us a review on your listening app of choice. You can find us on Facebook.
¿A dónde?
You can find us on Facebook
Beautiful.
at True Chicago Fans. You can follow us on Twitter at True Chi Fans and on Instagram at True Chicago Sports Fans. Don't forget, you can support the show with a monthly subscription at anchor.fm/True Chicago Sports Fans. Go on over there and click on support, and you can subscribe to the show for as low as 99 cents a month. Do you like the show?
I sure do.
Are you a fan?
I am.
Well, tell your friends, and they'll tell their friends, and we can all be friends, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Springtime is on its way, and maybe you need a fresh start, so let me tell you about a great opportunity with our friends over at ACSI. With over 50 expert technicians in the Chicagoland area, ACSI offers a one-stop shop for telecom wiring. Whether residential cable installation, fiber to the home, or commercial structured cable wiring, ACSI is a proud partner of Comcast and Astound, powered by RCN. Fans, let me tell you the most impressive thing about ACSI. The ACSI crew did their thing during the COVID-19 pandemic, and ACSI was awarded Hacia's 2020 Contractor of the Year award. The best part is that ACSI is growing bigger and better than ever. ACSI is now hiring for field sales, technicians, and project managers. Check out ACSI.tech. That's ACSI.tech, and click on careers to apply today. ACSI is an equal opportunity employer.
Go get you a job.
Please go get a job, Z. What's up, brother? I missed you last week. I know you missed me because everyone missed me.
That's right. We did miss you. Who am I supposed to argue with?
How you doing, man? How was your week?
I'm good. Let me crack this open. There we go.
Yeah.
Now it's about to be a good
The
time.
mountains are blue.
Oh, yeah. No, man, I got a good week. I know we missed you last week. It was a different dynamic. I mean, obviously, you are one of the main cogs in the show. So when we take out one of the main cogs, we got to get a couple of small cogs. Sorry, guys.
You said small cog, right?
Cogs.
Okay,
C-O-G.
just make sure.
To make up for your big cog.
Hey.
This show only gets better, ladies and gentlemen. Better and better. Keep listening. Tons of bowling this week. We faced a team that I don't know if they were new or what the issue was, but we definitely got it to win, even though we were down 170 pins per game.
Wow.
So every time we started, the first throw, we were already down 170 pins. So they had a lot of, I guess, new bowlers with the high handicap, like 100 and something. So we overcame that, even though we were missing one of our good bowlers as well. And then I also want to shout out my boys, Berto. He's part of the crew. Magic, Alvaro. They went down there downstate for the Columbus Knights tournament that my team lost. But they went out there and they did their thing, and they won the state tournament. They took first place in the championship in honor of our fallen friend Tony Stepdaddy Pugh. So it's been an up and down week, but you know what? It's time to have some fun. I know you have a lot to talk about because you went traveling. You hit the Smoky Mountains or something?
No, we took a trip down to Kentucky. First of all, big shout out to Mike Logic and Gigant who are filling in for me last week when we took our little mini weekend vacation. That little quick trip down to Kentucky. We stopped in Louisville to check out the Louisville Slugger Factory and Museum. That was really cool. A little history of the bats, where they get the materials from, the different types of wood that they use, and all that good stuff. So that was pretty cool. And they actually have life-size statues of Jeter, Roberto Clemente was there. There was a few, Babe Ruth. I mean, that was really cool. I mean, kind of, and it was life size, like I said. So I mean, and to see like their height, their size, all that stuff. That was really cool. I mean, we had a little Airbnb in the middle of nowhere in Kentucky, not far from like a Bowling Green area, but it was kind of off,
Okay.
And a little hot tub. My daughter turned 12 years old, so we went out there for her birthday. We were supposed to take her to Disney a couple years ago, and guess what happened? Well, pandemic says no. So for her 10th birthday, we were supposed to go back to Disney for her like 5th time because she's spoiled as hell. And but instead, for her 12th birthday, we were able to take her out, and we'll be going to Tennessee at the end of March. So you'll have to find a fill-in for me then. But we'll do the same kind of thing. Just hang out. Coming from where we come from in the city, where everything is just right on top of you and you can literally buy anything you want by walking down one city block, right. It's definitely a different experience to be in the middle of nowhere, knowing that if you need a gallon of milk, you better go find a cow. So but yeah, that's the difference, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, it was nice to get away a little bit and, hang out with the kids, hang out with the family, quality time and all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, like, it's just fun, man. What we really need to do, and I've been thinking about this a lot, that we need to do a boys trip, man. We need to go to another state and go see some games. Maybe your favorites, the Cleveland area or something like that.
Fuck you. Fuck Ohio.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, we had a good time. I don't know.
Who vacations in Ohio?
I don't know.
Come on, Joakim.
LeBron, I don't know.
LeBron doesn't even vacation. You know who does stay in Ohio is your boy Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle does. Yeah, Dave Chappelle does.
That's probably the only black man that the vacations there.
And if you don't like what he has to say, he'll pull all his business out of there too. So
exactly. I mean, he pretty much owns the damn town.
He does. But that's when you're Chappelle and you got Chappelle show, you can do that type of thing. But yeah, man.
That's right.
Hey, listen, we have a fantastic show this week.
Oh, yeah.
Our special guest is the one and only Mikey O, back for his second appearance. He joins us to talk about that MLB lockout in the bottom line and some interesting food choices in stirring the pot.
Oh, man.
We also talk a little Blackhawks and Bulls, and as always, what you looking at? But first, this is the Big Three with Big Z.
Thanks, E-Rock. I'm Big Z, and you're not.
Nope.
Now for today's stories. Story number one. And this one's wild. When I found it, I had to send it to you because you sometimes partake in stuff that we can't talk about. All right. Brittany Griner, WNBA star, and she's a center. So she's a big woman. She's very tall. Is detained in Russia. Russia confirms Russian customs officials said that the U.S. basketball player had a vape cartridges containing hashish oil in her luggage. So this is crazy. I mean, they said that they taken it because of vape cartridges.
Yeah. So I mean, this is not any flour.
No.
This is not any loose weed or anything like that. I mean, this is a cart. You can get it at any dispensary anywhere in the state of Illinois. But she was detained, and now, so just for some background, Brittany Griner has been around in the WNBA for a long time. I want to say she was a champion in college, and she, at WNBA, it seems like no one stays on the same team for more than 3 years. There's just a lot of movement there. It's not like, and NBA does that too, but WNBA in particular, they just have a lot of movement.
And they got to play overseas to make up extra money.
And that's what it is. She's been playing in Russia for many years during the WNBA offseason. She was over there playing, and as everything went down, when Russia decided that they wanted to go and steal Ukraine's cookies, they decided, hey, I'm going to come home. So everyone else came home, and she wasn't allowed to because once they went through her luggage, and this is about 3 weeks ago that she's been detained. Now, the concern right now, there is a former top Pentagon official said last week that she's concerned that Russia is detaining her as leverage over the United States. Evelyn Farkas told Yahoo Sports that Russia may want Griner as a high-profile hostage who could serve as a valuable bargaining chip. So that's the kind of scary thing about this. This is a sentence over in Russia that can carry a prison sentence of up to 10 years. So, this is a very this is a scary situation for someone who's just over there making some money. I mean, like I said, she's been around for a long time. She's a 2-time gold medal winner in the Olympics. It's just crazy, and she sticks out like she's 6'9".
Yeah, she sticks out like a thumb.
What I mean? So I don't know. I mean, like I said, it's scary. It's scary that she's stuck in this situation. If you follow sports at all, you know who this is. And
she's the one that dunks on people.
Yeah. She's like literally the one WNBA player that dunks on people. It's just a scary situation, especially with everything going on in Russia. Russia is going against some of the sanctions that U.S. is putting on them for their invasion of Ukraine because Ukraine is fighting back very valiantly with Zelensky over there, who is, as a matter of fact, he is a former comedian turned president of Ukraine, and there's actually movies of him that they're kind of showing the people and all this stuff. But I mean, he's scared for his life over there. He spoke to the U.S. He said that he feared that this might be the last people hear from him because he just survived his 4th assassination attempt. So it seems like Russia is trying to bait U.S. into doing something so they can go all-out war.
Right.
Hopefully that's not the case. And hopefully she can get home soon.
Yeah, that's right. Alrighty, story number 2. This one pulls on the heartstrings, man. Cain Velasquez, former UFC heavyweight champion, is charged with attempted murder. So this happened last week in the San Jose, California area. Velasquez, who's 39, is accused of targeting Henry Eugene Gugliarte, who is charged with allegedly molesting one of Velasquez's young relatives. Velasquez faces 10 counts that could carry more than 20 years of jail time if he's convicted, per the court document. According to the district attorney's office, Velasquez was following Guarte's truck in his own vehicle during an 11-mile high-speed chase through San Jose. He rammed the truck and then fired a .40 caliber handgun multiple times into the truck, which carried Gugliarte and 2 older relatives. Gugliarte's 63-year-old stepfather, Paul Bender, was struck once in his arm and torso and is expected to survive. This is a sad tragedy that Mr. Velasquez chose to take the law in his own hands, endangering the public and everyone in the truck. So here's the backstory. His young family member was at a daycare, and the accusation is that the Gugliarte, who is the son of the lady who runs the daycare, molested Velasquez's family member and multiple times. So he found out about it. Gugliarte was taken to custody but released by the police. So then Cain went and tried to do it justice on his own. So I'm going to stop talking here, and I'm going to let the man who has a daughter talk about this.
So I don't know how anyone on the right mind can fault Cain Velasquez for what he's done. I mean, this guy is one of the MMA's greatest heavyweights of all time. I mean, I don't know how much people know about Cain Velasquez, but I mean, this is a gangster. I'm a little surprised that he didn't just beat his ass. I mean, his big thing is that he always had a bunch of knee injuries, and he just retired, a little over like a year and a half ago, and I'm sure he's still out there training. I'm sure he's still out there doing his thing, and I don't know. I think what happens is that you get frustrated when the law doesn't seem to do their job, or at least doesn't. How do you not hold on to a child molester when there's been multiple occasions that it's out there and it's known? You're going to tell me that there's no cameras in this daycare to see what's going on? I can't fault Kane for this whatsoever. I mean,
not at all. And
he should have finished the fucking job. Go out there, beat his ass. I mean, look, the one thing I will agree with crazy ass Joe Rogan on is the fact that he said he was like, hey man, he should have murdered him. I wish he would have killed him. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's just.
I think he should not use the gun. He's already a trained assassin. Yeah. I think he should have waited and had him premeditated the way he wanted to do it instead of using his anger to go out and chase somebody and shoot somebody. Because at the same time he shot the older man, and I don't know what his involvement was in the daycare or the situation. But if you're going after that one man, go after that one man. And she should have thought it out. And I'm not condoning murder or anything, but I despise molesting children, messing with animals. Just those are two things that I just despise. He should have literally took him to the woods and beat the crap out of him for the next month.
And I mean, even Dana White, everyone loves Dana White in the MMA community. I mean, like he even came out and says, I obviously feel sorry for him and his family. It's a horrible thing. I don't know enough details to speak on it. From what I heard, we'd all say that we'd do it too if it ever happened to us. And Kane did it. So I mean, this is one of those situations where, unfortunately, he is the retaliator. Right,
and that's when it gets caught all the time, right?
And
that's when it's punished.
How it happens in sports, and that's just just what it is. But I mean, I hope they let him. I hope they let him free. I hope they can actually get more evidence on the guy who is allegedly the one that was molesting this young person. And I don't know, man. Look, I always put it this way. I always got a bat in the back of my car. And I make sure there's also a glove back there.
Yes, that's the right to do it. Yep,
you know
that's
what I mean. But yeah, I mean, I got two young daughters. You know what I mean. So you can't tell me that's not. I wouldn't do something similar. I can't deny that I would. It's just what it is.
I agree. I mean, I raised my two sisters, and there's no way in hell anything would happen to them because even when they were dating in their young ages, I would tell them like, don't do anything stupid, and don't put me in jail.
Yeah,
that, and if he's gonna be judged by a jury of his peers, who in their right mind is gonna be like, you deserve to go to jail?
Yeah, I mean,
crazier things happen. I know.
As far as like being to the letter of the law, yeah, it's illegal. It's illegal what he did. He shot the older.
But obviously, the letter of the law did not work in this situation.
Right.
So
and that's the problem. And that's why these things happen.
Right.
That's why these things
that's
happen.
cause and effect. Correct.
Exactly.
All right, story number 3, a feel-good story, Eddie.
That's the feel-good story of the week.
It might be a sticky situation.
Hey.
A sex startup says that it's created a VR-enabled masturbation pod for companies that want to make their employees very uncomfortable very quickly. Strip Chat, a porn site, announced in a blog post that it's developed something it's dubbed the Wank Pod. Wow. To give company employees a place to engage in a little office onism. Wow. The company even installed one in their own workplace and plans a commercial rollout in the future. Each Wank Pod is planned to come. Yeah, I know, you keep cracking up like a 6-year-old. To come fully equipped with oh my God, I can't read this. Masturbatory accessories, including a 4K LED screen to watch VR cams, 4K. Boosted by DreamCam's technology, and an Oculus Quest VR headset, lotion, tissues, and more. The startup wrote in this announcement.
Let me tell you something. I don't think a tissue gonna cut it. I don't think a tissue's gonna cut it here.
Oh my God!
Now let me tell you something. You ever go to a video store back in the day and they got those saloon doors?
The saloon door, or they had the curtain.
Yeah. I'm willing to bet that this is not a new concept. There's a booth in the back, and I remember one of the biggest insults you could give someone as a kid is that your dad's job was going in the back there with the mop.
Oh man!
How do you clean that thing? That's
instead of tissue, they should provide socks.
Holy cow! I mean, this is seriously like it's why is. if you want to go and work one out, I mean, just go in your car or something. I don't know what the hell's going on here.
Why does it have to be at work?
Why?
I'm no longer shaking anyone's hand.
You're working it at work? What the hell's going on here?
I mean, you're working it on the clock. Jesus.
Speaking into the microphone. I did that. This is the fun. I'm so glad I found this story because look, you know what's happening to me right now? You ever get that little pain in the back of your head?
Yeah, from laughing.
Can't stop laughing. I can't stop laughing. Oh, shit.
Oh, man. And what is it? It looks like a helmet. Oh, my God. I don't know what the hell doing.
Yeah, it does look like a helmet. Like a fireman helmet.
Yeah. This is... I can't read anymore of this shit, man. I'm already uncomfortable. Jesus. I mean, back in the day when we had the hot box, whatever, and you see the scrambled lines, and be lucky if you saw.
Fuck, I had a Sears catalog. What are you talking?
Jesus, why is it so sticky? It's the perfume that was in the middle. It spilled everywhere.
Yeah, man, those pages came stuck together, or they stuck together after. Never.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Oh, yes, we have a 6th grade humor here, and it's going to keep going.
Hey-o.
Oh, man. All right, people, I'm Big Z, and that's news to me. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
Hey, true Chicago sports fans, show off your Chicago pride with some fresh clothes from Grit Clothing Company. At Grit Clothing, they create that simple yet classic style that represents that Chicago Southside lifestyle. From t-shirts to hoodies, hats to glassware, they've got you covered. Grit has everything you need to represent your Chicago pride, so do it right now. Check out gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15.
TrueFan15.
For 15% off your entire order. Let me say it again. That's gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off of your entire order.
Hey, this is Mikey O, and you're listening to the True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast. Don't forget to visit Mikey O at Mikey O Show or www.MikeyOShow.com.
Welcome back to the True Chicago Sports Fans Podcast with E-Rock and Big Z.
Oh, yeah.
This is The Loop, our Chicago sports roundup where we keep you in the loop.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago.
Yo, Z, what's going on with Sea Red Nation and the Chicago Bulls?
Sea Red Nation, there is a lot going on. February's Eastern Conference Player of the Month is DeMar DeRozan, the king of the fourth.
Ooh, baby.
Yeah, he literally put everyone on his back and said, follow me, man. Let's go.
Yeah, but here's the problem.
He's tired.
He's
tired.
He's
He's
32,
tired.
man.
He's tired.
He's starting to look 32 and not 18.
I mean, the man's been carrying us all month. You can't blame him for having a couple bad games.
And not even bad games. He's just tired. I mean, like you. The weird thing is that I kind of expected. I feel like now we're getting to the point when he gets the ball in his hand, especially in the fourth quarter. The rest of the team is spectating.
They're just standing. No one's cutting. No one's moving.
They're
and
spectating.
Yeah,
and that's what happens. Sometimes you're so used to that ball going in all the time, you start watching, and you can't do that.
No, not at all. And then Zach's not fully 100%. No matter what he says after the All-Star break, that my knee feels fine. He's playing on a daily basis because he wants to make his money, his Supermax money, at the end of the season.
Well, he's about 80% right now. That's what's going on with him.
Yeah,
he's not 100.
He's got no lift. He doesn't drive to the hole with explosiveness. He doesn't. And then you got Io and Kobe who are not consistent.
They're young.
Yeah, well, yeah. Vooch just he's softer than Sharman right now when he plays a big man. And we got our lunatic Dana Kardashian. He can blow up at any moment. I love him. I love his intensity, but you can get in his head easily.
Yeah, I mean, like, you got to remember, they're not gonna really be relying on him for so much. I mean, I know Billy Donovan came out and said that he really likes playing Tristan Thompson and Vucevic together for your Twin Towers. But again, these are guys that are both around 30 years old, so they're not young bucks. I mean, it's a lot different when you talk about Giannis, who's like 27, and it's just getting better and better, and you still got another decade of a guy like that. Yeah. But I mean, you see what happened when they played the Bucks. You see what happened when they're playing some of these higher tier teams. I mean, they lost to Atlanta. And a couple, in the middle of January, they blew them out. The game that me and Gigantor went to, they blew Atlanta out of the building. And now they go down there and play in the ATL, and they just can't keep up. And the problem is that they're doing the same thing that they do all season, where they get towards the end of the game and they kind of teeter-totter, and they either have a slow start now, or because in the beginning of the season they'd be up by 20 and then lose the game by 1. You know what I mean? Now they're getting to the point where they have to play catch-up for the second and third quarter. They finally catch up, and by the end they're all gassed out. So I mean, that's a problem, and the rest of the team got to step up.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. Vooch is going with 20 points, but he's not rebounding, especially no offensive rebound. You have DeMar still, getting 30 points. He had a couple of hiccups, but Zach also, he's up and down. Like, Zach should be averaging 25 to 30 points as well. You're a superstar, right? That's what you want to be called. That's what you got to pay as. I need that from you.
They have very few second chance points because their rebounding is not there. Now, I don't know if that's what they expected that Pat Williams was going to be able to do for them, but I mean, like, this is him losing an entire season. So, I mean, and I said it before they got DeRozan, before they got AC, before they got Lonzo Ball, this team, to me, relied on what happened with Pat Williams. If he becomes a star, if he becomes one of these guys, even if he's a top 20 player, now you're on your way to something great. Yeah. But you can't rely on DeMar DeRozan next season to be able to do what he's doing this season.
There's no way.
We know that Zach is looking for his contract. We know that they have Lonzo Ball for a couple years. They have Caruso now. But I mean, you're really going to need Pat Williams to step up, and we're going to see if he's able to not only come back by the time the playoffs start, but actually be effective and be in basketball shape.
Agreed. Again, like I said, the help defense, the offensive rebounding, and trying to shoot out every game is not going to be the best formula to win any games, especially against the top tier, which is what they're playing right now. So, hey, Mike and Gigantor, I was right. 3 straight losses. I called that. You can book it. And you can also book them losing to the 76ers. I know you guys are going to hear this on Tuesday, but I'm pretty sure they're losing to Joel Embiid and Sexton and Harden, who's going to show up.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, all of a sudden James Harden goes over to the 76ers, and now he doesn't look fat anymore. And now you sit there. And let me tell you something. You want to talk about – we talked about the All-Star break a little bit with Karl Anthony Towns wanting to be one of the best shooting big men of all time, winning the three-point competition, which no one saw him coming. Right. I'm gonna tell you right now. You watch Embiid, man. He's really shooting well, and he's playing well. He's playing at an MVP caliber, and I would be surprised if he doesn't take that prize. And now you take a guy now, because here's the thing: you got Harden, who just decides after 3 months on any team, I can't play with you guys no more. Well, okay, now you left Brooklyn and all that star power, and you come over to 76ers, who really could use him. Yes, who really could use him, because when you talk about a big giant guy like that, you need another player alongside him to really take the pressure off of him. And Ben Simmons ain't doing it, and so Ben Simmons goes over to the Nets, and he's still not playing. No. Now there's theories out there is he not playing because he doesn't want to go back and play against the Sixers? I don't know what the hell's wrong with that kid, but I'll tell you what. Head case. Essentially, because you took all those players and moved them over. Yes, you lost Steph Curry or Seth Curry, which is a lot of shooting. They paid a pretty penny to bring Harden over,
and it's gonna pay off.
It is gonna pay off, because guess what? You didn't have Simmons all year, so essentially, when you talk about player for player, what do we always talk about? Am I looking towards next season, or I'm looking towards right now? I'm trying to win the championship right now. I will deal with next year. Right now, what they did is they basically placed themselves at the top of the Eastern Conference, right up there with the Bucks, because the Bucks, don't forget, the Bucks are still the champs, and they put that on display when the Bucks played the Bulls, and you could see the difference in the talent.
1,000%. And I told you, since we started the Bulls season, I told you there'd be a 4 seed. Yep. And you know what? I'm not even sure there'll even be a 4 seed at this point.
I would say they're going to be around there.
There'll be a 4 or 5. I think if they drop, they'd be to a 5. But either way, you're playing a 4 seed or the 5 seed, same spot. But again, I don't see them getting past the second round.
I mean, look, here's the impressive thing right now is considering the fact that, like I said, you don't have Lonzo Ball with that knee injury. You don't have Zach LaVine at 100%. You don't have Pat Williams right now. You don't have AC right now, who is your best defensive player. So you look at Ball and you look at AC, who are your cogs on defense. They do not play defense, and their two guys that do play defense are not in the game right now. So I mean, we can give them credit for what they were able to do without their best defensive players, because let's not act
they
like
overcame. You can't use it as an excuse,
right? And
crutch.
that's the thing is, you can't say we can't sit here and praise them when they do so great without those players.
Right.
But then when they lose, we say, well, it's because they don't have a full team. It doesn't work that way. Injuries. Every team is dealing with injuries. The Suns are dealing with Chris Paul right now not being, and they're the best team in the West right now. So I mean, like, I don't know what's going to happen with these Bulls. I'm concerned. My main concern right now is that this spectacular MVP caliber season that DeMar DeRozan is having in his first year with the Chicago Bulls is going to end up going to waste. They have to at least win one playoff series for this to prove to be a successful season, because otherwise this is all for naught.
Yeah, I can't argue none of that.
I mean, here, let me look right now real quick. And yeah, right now the Bulls are the 4 seed, but I mean, you're talking about
they got to play the 76ers on Monday, which I know that'll be a loss. Then they got to play the Pistons, which should be a win. That should be an easy win, but it can be one of those trap games. Then they play the Cavs.
Yeah, I mean, the Pistons have the second worst record in the East right now, but I mean, like,
they play to the competition. That's the problem.
100%. Well, the Bulls have always done that.
Yeah.
The Bulls have always done that. I mean, but right now you're looking at the Heat at the number 1 seed, 43-22.
And the Heat are not healthy either.
The Heat are not healthy because
they're missing 2 good players.
But Jimmy been out. So I mean, and they just lost to the Heat. They got the Sixers coming up, who are currently in the 2nd seed at 39-24, and then they just lost to the Bucks, who are 40-25. So right now, the Bulls are half a game behind the Bucks for the 3 seed at 39-25. So we'll see what happens. But I mean, look, the Celtics are also right on their heels right now with 39 wins and 27 losses, and even the Cavs are only 3 games behind the Bulls anyway. So I mean, it is a pretty tight race, because going all the way down to the 9 seed, you're 32 wins right there, 32-33 for the Nets. So I mean, even the Hawks in 10 are 31-32. This is not,
and those are 2 scary teams to be playing if you're the 1 seed.
100%. 100%.
If you get Milwaukee versus the Brooklyn in that first matchup, that's going to be wild.
Yep. 100%. I mean, hell, that'll be very enjoyable.
Oh yeah, for us, yeah,
it'll be awesome. But I mean, like, yeah, it's scary. It's scary to think what the Bulls are gonna do. And like I said, on a 4-game losing streak. Now, granted, before that they won 6 in a row, so their last 10 they're 6-4. But still, I mean, it
doesn't feel like 6-4.
It doesn't.
No,
it doesn't.
All right, on the other side, on the ice, the Blackhawks have conflicting reports whether they'll trade their goaltender, Marc-Andre Fleury, and their cornerstones, Taves and Kane. Fleury actually said he doesn't want to be traded, but it's going to happen. These guys need to be moved. It's time to turn over the whole organization, get rid of any stench from that era, even though Kane and Taves may not have been part of that. It is time to move on, clean slate, and start from the bottom and work your way up. And that's how you're going to get draft picks and good players, or good young players, is by trading these older veterans.
Yeah, I mean, they already started that process. You see how they kind of went down. One of the big names that they traded was Duncan Keith, who is now on the Oilers.
Yeah.
One cool thing that we saw the last week, Nicholas Jarmelson came back. It was Jarmelson Day or whatever it is. He did the puck drop for you had Taves and you had Duncan Keith facing off for that puck drop. So that was really cool to kind of, some people were like, it was very emotional to see these 3 players that, think about the 2016 Cubs, how they kind of broke up.
Right.
So see these 3 players together. But look, one thing that we did see from the Blackhawks was they finally found a GM. They actually brought up their interim GM and made it a permanent position by hiring Kyle Davidson, who actually came in right away and started chopping off some of the fat that was left over from the previous regime and all the shit that went down. So good for them on that. But aside from that, I don't give a shit about hockey.
Whoa, look at all that passion, and you don't even give a shit.
Yeah.
Well, the Chicago Fire, your favorite team, E? The Fire are still winless this season after 2 games. This past Saturday, they went 90 minutes plus to a final of 0-0 after a handball negated a goal for Orlando.
Did you say handball?
That was the last segment.
Did you say handball?
I did say handball, but that was last segment.
They need to get him that pod.
Then he'll really score.
On the sidelines, baby.
He shoots. He scores.
Go.
This show just took a left turn. I was surprised how many supporters made it to the home opener at Soldier Field for the Chicago Fire. Their first game was on the roads, and this game was at home, and it was a good weather game. So
Yeah, that's because they probably thought that porta potty was a masturbation pot.
E, do you have any damn Bears news? Because you're like in remission or something. You're like, or in, I don't know, man. You're out there today.
Oh,
Hey,
man.
Rihanna.
Speaking of lining up, there is a report that there are several teams lining up for the potential services of former Bears quarterback Mitch Trubisky. Among the teams are the Panthers, the Steelers, the Commanders, the Broncos, and the Giants. They are all believed to be in the mix to sign Mitch. Who should sign Mitch, man?
I wonder, who do you favor?
I
I
don't
just
know. It
fucking wonder.
It might be the team that wears black and yellow and
Black and
happens
yellow,
to be,
black and yellow.
happens to be in Pittsburgh. Hey, look, Big Ben is gone. Okay, Mason Rudolph, nobody cares about that guy, and plus he's a douchebag. Give me Mitch all day. You know what I mean? Like, I'd like to see what he can do in there.
With an actual good coach?
With a coach, with a stable coach. I mean,
Yes.
you bring him in an organization where let me tell you something about even if you don't like the Steelers because you didn't like Big Ben, you have to respect the fact that you're talking about a team that over the past 50 years has had only 3 head coaches.
Yep.
Okay, Chuck Noll, Big Chin, what the fuck is his name, and Mike Tomlin. You know what I mean? So like. So you're talking about a team, and you know what else the Steelers did? They hired Brian Flores after he was snubbed for an NFL head coaching job, and they gave him like a special coach's linebacker or whatever. They're just giving him they're throwing him a bone. They're like, yo, that's shitty what you did. I'm the only black coach in the NFL right now.
Come on over.
Let's do the thing. So
Yeah.
I mean, look, hey, get Mitch over there. Get him in an organization that's stable, that's respectful, that knows how to treat their players, and let's get it done. Look, they need a quarterback. Why not revive this guy's career? Go over there with a stable head coach, with a stable running game, with a stable organization, and ball the fuck out. Let me tell you something. I might have to get a Trubisky fucking Steelers jersey if they sign him. I'm telling you right now.
Whoa.
I might have to do it.
They don't got those at the thrift store yet, bro.
Coming
All right,
soon. to
Coming
Salvation.
soon, yeah. He's not going to go to the Panthers. The Panthers are a fucking hot mess. The Steelers would be the best situation. Obviously, if it wasn't the Steelers, I would say if he went under Bill Belichick and that organization, they would tailor their offense to his needs.
But they don't need him over there.
No, I know that. Yeah, I'm saying if they didn't have their quarterback. The Commanders, that's a shit show. Stay away from that. Don't even drive over there. No. The Broncos, I see the Broncos going after the 2 quarterbacks.
The Broncos will go after every quarterback of all time. That's what they do. Ever since they
went after Kyle Orton.
They went to Kyle Orton.
He lit it up over there.
I mean, and they had Peyton Manning. They will go. It feels like they are so weird at the quarterback position. I mean, they signed Bridgewater and they didn't like him and this and that. I don't know, man. The Broncos are just a weird team.
The Giants are cutting everybody. You've seen that they're going to trade everybody. That's the reports this week. They're just giving up and trading everybody.
It's possible that they could cut Saquon Barkley. Another thing that I did see that is possible that the Cowboys are going to cut Amari Cooper.
Yep.
Amari Cooper.
Yeah, they're going to save a lot of money.
They're going to save a lot of money. Hey, man, I think the Bears need to go in there and scoop him up.
Yeah, that would be good, but we also have to address the offensive line, the secondary.
Draft. I mean, like,
I get what you're saying. I'm just saying there's a lot of adjustments.
There's a lot of interesting players out there. But Chris Olave from Ohio State that played with Justin Fields a couple years ago.
Yep.
I mean, he lit it up. I want to say the 2 wide receivers from Ohio State had the fastest 40 time in the combine. So, I mean, I think there's a lot of positions that they need to fill. But I also think that this organization that they have right now with Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus, I feel like Ryan Poles right now at the very least is saying the right things. He seems like he knows that he needs to focus on that O-line. And right now, from what I'm hearing from him, is that no person on the O-line is safe.
Yeah.
And that includes the rookies. That includes Larry Borum. That includes Kevin Jenkins. So let's see what he's going to do.
He wants to put his stamp, his stamp.
Yes, 100%.
His rubber stamp on that team.
You're going to see a lot of.
That's fine.
Now he also said that he wants to. There's a possibility they try to repair the relationship between the Bears and Allen Robinson. Now, considering the fact that you have overturned the organization when you talk about the front office and the coaching staff, it is possible because this is like starting for a brand new team. I just don't know if he has a bad taste in his mouth.
He probably does have bad taste.
I mean, it's whatever. I don't think he's a number one. He's not
He's not a
fast
number
enough,
one.
and he doesn't get open enough.
He's a slot receiver.
Right.
That's what he is.
You know what I mean? He's a number 2 or 3 at most to
He's
me.
a 3.
He's not fast enough.
No, that's why. At this point, he's a 3.
He's not tall enough.
He's a possession receiver.
Yeah, which is fine. But I mean, like, you know, like, what did I always say about him? He likes to jump for no good reason. You could have stood there and caught that. What are you doing jumping and you got to catch it between your legs?
Yeah.
What kind of shit is that? Yeah, I'm not. I think it was good for the Bears when he came. I'm just not a big fan of his.
Yeah. No. All right, fans, let's take a pause for the cause, and we'll be right back with our new segment, The Bottom Line, after a quick word from our sponsors.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
We all know that 2020 was no joke, and with an ever-changing world climate, many people are looking for a new opportunity. Guys, are you looking for a career that rewards effort and makes you feel valued as a team member? Let me tell you a little about our friends at ACSI. ACSI is a certified RCN business agent. They provide the same RCN services with a personalized touch. Their sales and technician teams work hand in hand, ensuring your experience will be smooth and pleasant. Gone are the days of being transferred from one person to the next. At ACSI, they handle everything from start to finish. It's never been so easy to get internet service. ACSI is a growing Chicagoland company that encourages personal growth and rewards perseverance. As they expand, they're looking for passionate, responsible, and honest professionals to join their team. A career with ACSI means you'll be part of a hardworking, flexible, and dynamic team that is a leader in the installation of cable and internet services in the Chicagoland area. Best of all, ACSI was awarded Hacia's 2020 Contractor of the Year Award. Are you ready to grow with a local Chicago company on the rise? Check out acsi.tech and click on careers to get started. That's acsi.tech and click on careers.
Welcome back to the TCSF podcast with E-Rock and Big Z. This
Yeah.
is The Bottom Line.
And that's the bottom line.
In this segment, we discuss the biggest Chicago sports topic of the week, and this week it is baseball and the back and forth between the owners and the players. E, take it away.
Yo, this week we are joined in studio by our very special guest from Mikey O's comedy show, the one and only Mikey O. What's up, Mike?
Hey, man, thanks for having me. Happy Sunday.
Yeah,
That's
man.
right.
It's exciting. You know, it's funny because with the pandemic, you know, we talked to you once before on the show, and we talk to you all the time. But you know, we rarely get a chance. We do recently, but we rarely had a chance to have people in studio. So it's really cool to actually see you here, come through, hang out, and see what we do over here, man.
Man, I'm excited to be here. I wish the people could see what I see. I'm excited to be in the museum here. And, but it is super cool. Like I said, I wish you guys could see what I see. So many wonderful parts of sports memorabilia here.
Yeah, like I was saying off the air, you know, 90% of the stuff that is in here came from thrift stores. So it's just dedication and perseverance and patience. That's really what it comes down to.
I don't know how you do this, man.
Hey, man, the my last find that I just found
I
this
saw.
week were some championship replica rings from the Chicago Bulls from the 90s. And these, I believe they were giveaways that came from either season ticket holders
Right.
or when you came after. So there's one from the, I want to say the 96 and the 92 championship replica rings that I just put in that case this week.
You better install some security into that because they might go missing.
Somebody's going to be like, those are the real ones.
Right.
Yeah, it's just like I said, it's lucky. But yeah, let's talk about baseball. What's going on here? I mean, you know, it's right now. We talked about it a little bit before. This is the time of year where I'm expecting spring training to be happening. I'm waiting to draft my fantasy baseball team. I'm looking forward to what's to come because right now is the indication that summer is on its way. And right now we don't know what the hell's going on, and none of the sides are ready to go. And what's going on here?
No, well, you have a lot of you have the billionaires and the millionaires, and then the rest of MLB players who don't make any money. And those are the ones that are really getting affected. The guys that are making less minimum wage for MLB is the least out of all major 4 sports, which is incredible because they play the most amount of games. So if Eddie is the 26th man on the roster and he's on the bench, he's making $625,000, where the guy next to him is making $43 million per year. So he's making that on a daily basis.
Right.
That's the disparity is just ridiculous.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of money. And I mean, you're talking about, I want to say it's only 40% of the league actually makes, what, a million or more or whatever it is. 60% of the league is on that minimum. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, what is it, like $600,000 a year or whatever it is? You would take that in a heartbeat.
Of course.
You know, but at the same time, when you look at profit sharing, revenue sharing, the fact that they don't have a salary cap, you have a lot of teams that are sitting there front loading the roster. But we know for a fact that really doesn't matter, because we can look at certain teams, look at what the A's were able to do the last couple of years. They're kind of teetering that line, whether they're going to be good or not. The Rays have been incredible the last few years.
They're the anomaly where they recruit and draft and produce good players, and they keep them as they continue to grow and keep them on the roster. And guess what? They'll have that 1 or 2 year run where they'll be up in the championship. They were in the World Series. But then you have the New York Mets or the Yankees and so forth, and they'll spend $43 million on one player. Wow. And the whole salary for the entire team of the Tampa Bay Rays was $48 million. That's just insane. You can't do that. That's the issue right there.
Right. Yeah,
that's one of the issues right there.
Well, and you know, you talked about the people that are hardest hit. Now, you know, Mike, you went through this and I know when we started going to shows again, one of the biggest things that you concentrate on were the staff at the venue.
100%.
And that's a very similar thing that's going on here is the people that, we feel bad because the players can't go in there, and some of these younger players are not making money, or they haven't made their money yet, or they're still sleeping on their parents' couch because they're not getting checks in their first couple years.
Right.
But who is suffering the most? The guy that's the beer vendor and the peanuts guy and the girl who comes and makes pizza, you know, at the concessions. Those are the ones that are hurting the most.
Yeah, we forget those people often. I mean, a lot of times in most situations where we have these very wealthy work battles, work stoppages, et cetera, we tend to forget that there's a whole community of other people that we don't know about, that we don't read about, that we don't see on TV, that are forgotten. And, you know, I think it's in terms of wealth overall, that is just the way it goes. We kind of have decided that as long as I got mine and I'm going to fight for mine, there's somebody bigger than me fighting for me to keep mine.
Right.
Right? You know what I'm saying? You baseball players don't wake up in the morning and they're like, I'm worth $43 million. Right. Somebody came to that decision and said, I'm going to get this guy $43 million.
Right.
And he deserves it. The baseball player is a guy that expected just to play the game he had always dreamed of playing.
Right.
Although then comes greed. Then the baseball players do wake up to that fact that there's a ton of money sitting out there and they deserve it.
Of course they do.
I think I've said this before at a couple of my live shows. It's been very difficult for me in the last 10 years to really follow any sports persona, individual, because I've seen more and more, like a baseball player with 14 bodyguards and a 9-year-old can't get an autograph. The same 9-year-old. Yeah, and it's the same 9-year-old whose basement is loaded with his picture, with his, you know what I mean? And this guy can't take 2 seconds to say hi to the kid.
I mean, there's a few reasons why that happens, is because, you think about back to the 60s, the 69 Cubs, they're walking across the street and they're going to have a beer with the fans. Ron Santos sitting on the same bar stool with, the Zombrowskis or whatever they're called. I forgot the Ditka's term for the lunch pail crew. You know what I mean? So, but times have changed because you got crazy people out there, because you got stalkers, because you have 1 or 2 incidents when, that Dombrowski's now he's trying to, remember the movie The Fan?
Yeah, The Fan.
Okay, you know what I mean? Like, so you get things like that. But, it also depends on the individual. I think when you have something like Twitter and social media, sometimes they do make themselves a little bit more available. We've seen over the years where maybe like some high school kid will ask a celebrity to, hey, will you go to prom with me? And they, follow up with that. So, I mean, you got that weird line right there. But then you get some guys that are like just too big for what they're doing. And especially, I would say overall, maybe like football is probably the most like that because it's the most popular sport. And then baseball, these guys are not as well known because even though they're out there for 162 games plus whatever playoff games that they play, Mike Trout is the best player in the MLB,
Right.
and nobody knows who he is.
Wow.
Nobody on this side.
He could walk right next to you. You wouldn't know who he looked
Yeah.
like. You know.
Yeah.
Because basketball players, they stand out like a sore thumb. They're huge, you know what I mean? They're tall.
Yeah.
Football players are huge guys, and you see them constantly. You're right in their face. Baseball, you just don't see it. And they're involved with one time every nine at bats,
Right.
or if a ball goes their way. That's the weird thing about baseball is that you're not as famous as some of these other athletes. Basketball, you only have 15 guys on a roster. When you look at the size of a roster on a baseball or a football field, it's interesting because these guys are fighting. But another thing that people don't realize is that when you talk about a $43 million contract, okay, let's say, and that's for 1 year. Let's say he gets $43 million in a year. It's not the first day he walks up and he's like, here's your $43 million.
Right.
No,
he
it's
still gets a paycheck
every
like
2
everyone
weeks.
else. And they're like, well, you make all that money. How could you possibly be broke? Well, number one, you start making that much money, and especially if you are brown or black, you know that money is gone the second it, because you have to take care of all your
family members.
the family living here, the family that where you came from, and all those other family members you gained along the way, because that's how Hispanic families work. That you just gain family.
And a
as you
perfect
go.
example would be David Ortiz. David Ortiz went down to the Dominican Republic, and then he ended up getting shot by someone that he knew.
Yep.
I mean, that was just ridiculous. It's like he's over there trying to spread goodwill and be an ambassador to the sport and help out his people, because he goes out there and does a lot of charity work. And he goes out one night and some dude's jealous and ends up shooting him. I'm like,
Right.
that's just ridiculous if you're trying to help out. And that's why players sometimes can't go back home, because they're way too big for haters.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's a dangerous situation. I mean, and not only that, but if you got a ton of money, if you're a CEO of a company, of a manufacturing company, and you're flying into Santo Domingo, nobody knows who you are.
No.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a baseball player and you're coming home,
They know
you're
you.
a hero and you got money.
And that's where they're famous. They're not famous here the
That's right.
same way they are famous at home, because it's not it's their skill that makes them famous. It's the wealth that makes them famous.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
It's also that they're someone that people look up to. Like, you made it out.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, how many Chicago stars do we have? You know, that made that we're in the hood and made it out, and that's why we have an affliction to them. We adore them, like Derrick Rose.
Yep.
Yeah, the kid was in the hood. The kid was in a bad situation. He had a family full of gangbangers.
Yeah.
But he got to the NBA.
Right.
You know, whatever it took to get there, but he got there. So there's a lot of situations. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's take a quick look at what's currently going on right now. MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred, the most famous man who nobody loves at all.
No,
Nobody likes this guy.
nobody
I mean,
likes him.
he is a big putz up there. No one knows what the hell he's talking about, and no one likes him. So I don't know what the hell he's doing,
Did you
because
see
neither side like him.
Did you see his press conference?
I don't need.
He
to see
allowed 2 questions from the same reporter, and she asked him, "So, why are we doing this? Well, why?" And he couldn't answer the why. He's like, you know what? We're just going to talk about this later. This is not. You're there to answer to everybody. You're there to answer to the owners, to the players, and to the fans. That's why you're the commissioner. You're the guy in charge.
Yeah.
Dude, he is the absolute worst. I mean, I think he's surpassed Gary Bettman as the most hated commissioner right now. Because, I mean, you think about the last time that baseball had a work stoppage, especially considering the fact that right now.
Oh, I know.
Oh, I know you know. That
Yes.
the
Every
White
time
Sox.
the White Sox
are gonna be
94. The
bad.
White Sox were very good.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it seems like, you know, when you look at the relationship someone like Adam Silver has with the players,
Yes.
LeBron James came out and I think he either surpassed Jordan, or he had some stat where he surpassed someone. Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, texted him to say, "Congrats, hope you're feeling okay. How's your family?" This is the difference. You look at what David Stern was responsible for making
the game
NBA global.
Right.
But Adam Silver has very much so embraced the culture of the NBA, and they knew him before he was the boss. So don't, you know what I mean? Like,
Because he was under
around.
David Stern, right.
He was the deputy commish. But I mean, you look at the way that he has a relationship with the players. You look at Gary Bettman. No one knows what the hell he does or what is. I mean, who cares about that guy? But
Well,
When
what
you-
it
when
is,
you- when you look at-
it's relationships. At the end of the day, it's all about relationships.
And Roger Goodell does good things, but at the same time, because he was the judge, jury, and executioner,
Yes.
when all these things were going down, especially with when you get some of these guys
domestic abuse
and weed. Oh, how does the punishment fit the crime? It never did.
Never.
So he's just universally hated by the players. But Rob Manfred right now is hated by the owners and the players.
Yes.
How can you be hated by both sides?
Wow.
You're literally the guy in the middle,
Yeah.
and everyone hates you. How terrible is that?
Yeah. You're supposed to be the guy that it's
The cool head, right.
Yeah, at least have some neutrality to be able to serve both worlds, and you can't. Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, they canceled the first two series of the 2022 season as the league and MLB Players Association continued talks for more than 3 months after the lockout began on December 2nd, which I've said for them to wait this long, they're just playing chicken, and it's super frustrating because you had all this time. The players had negotiated with MLB and owners for 9 straight days before Manfred announced the cancellation of regular season games and the delay of opening day just after the league's self-imposed 5 p.m. Eastern Time deadline on Tuesday. Major matters such as the competitive balance tax thresholds, the minimum salary, and the size of a new pre-arbitration bonus pool leave the sides with a significant distance between their proposals.
Yeah, details of today's Sunday, so I know you guys are hearing this on Tuesday. So details of Sunday's proposal from the Players Association, according to the source, would grant MLB ability to implement 3 specific on-field changes within 45 days notice, starting with the 2023 season. So what this comes down to is because of the COVID era, the owners changed some rules. And the players are like, well, you just changed the rules on a dime and we had to adjust. Last year was another one where they said you can no longer use the sticky stuff for the pitchers. And the pitcher's like, well, I'm throwing 100 miles an hour. I kind of need that sticky stuff so I don't hit somebody in the head. And they said, nope, you can't use it anymore. So you saw a lot of different things like the spin rate of the ball go down and more players got hit. So now the players are saying, give us notice, at least a 45-day notice before you try to implement a new rule.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
And it is fair. And to be fair to the situation as a whole, I mean, yes, COVID year, you had 2 years where you had no idea. I mean, when we started the show, it was, the 60-game season when the Dodgers won the World Series, and no one knew what was going to happen. No one knew if you were even going to have a season. Right. So when you have to adjust on the fly and then having to deal with who can be in the stadium, how many people you can have, so on and so forth last year. But the owners are sneaky because they're trying to, we've been doing this. What are you talking about? We just throw in a rule whenever we want. This is a normal thing now. No.
Yeah, so some of the rules that they want to change is installing a pitch clock so that the pitcher progresses the game. Some guys just hold the ball and just stare at the batter. That's so annoying. Just go. Let's go. Come on. Larger bases and shift of restrictions. So you can't shift the players all to one side of the field when a guy only hits to that field. So I'm 50-50 on the shift restriction just because you're a major league player. You should be able to hit the ball wherever someone's not. And as far as the larger bases, I don't understand that.
Larger bases?
Yeah, larger bases, making the bases larger.
Oh, my God. I didn't hear that at all.
Yeah, I didn't hear that one either.
Yeah,
wow, larger bases.
That was implemented last year in the minor leagues, and they want to bring it up to the major leagues this year.
Okay.
I don't understand the larger bases.
That one's a little odd. That one's a little odd because, I mean, you see... Why would you change them now?
The bases have been okay for how many years?
Right. Over 120.
No.
Yeah. You know what I think we need, guys? I think we need larger bases.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a gimmick.
Yeah. I think the larger bases is going to make this much better. I hear the fans all the time, larger bases, larger bases, larger. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like if you're playing golf and you're just like, you know what? Let me go get a shovel. And next thing you know, you're literally standing in the hole and trying to putt in the same hole. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
I don't understand that.
Another one of the things they want to change is robotic umpires. So computer is pretty much telling you if it's a ball or a strike.
Okay, can 100%. Do it now, right now. Get rid of Angel Hernandez. Joe West.
Joe West retired.
Joe West, old fat ass, is over there like barbecue. He's rotating on a spit right now. But give me a robo-ump all day. You know what that would do? That would eliminate arguments. How can you argue with a robot? The robot's going to be like, zap your ass, you're out.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
So you're for the robot.
100%.
Well, are you talking about robotic umpire or just a robotic camera?
No, so there's a camera that would dictate if it's a strike or not, and then the umpire behind the plate would has an earpiece, and he would say it's a strike.
Got it.
And also you can see that on the screen, right?
Got it.
The one thing that does take away is from catchers being able to frame the ball.
I mean,
and that's a skill.
I get that. I get. I mean, but you know what I mean? I don't know. I think if you would have a robotic quote unquote robotic, you should have some type of threshold outside there. Be like, all right, you know what I mean? Like, I think there's a way to kind of figure it out.
It's going to bring consistency to the game.
Right.
The baseball strike zones from your chest, from your nipples to your knees.
To your knees, yeah.
Right, and that'll be for everybody. So if it doesn't matter what size you are, it's still going to be consistent.
Right, and that's the hardest thing right now.
And that's the thing is
you
like
got Altuve,
right?
and you got
Altuve is
Aaron Judge.
5'2".
Yeah.
And Aaron Judge is what, 6'7"?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's where you get into trouble, you know. And future Cub Carlos Correa is a tall guy too.
Yeah, okay, you keep smoking that stuff you smoke, man. There's a lot of stuff going on, and a lot of stuff is going to change from day to day, hour to hour, and they're not going to meet for a couple more days. But arbitration pool starting at $80 million is down $5 million. There's no change to the CBT or the minimum, so no luxury tax increase, and there's no floor, and that's the other issue that teams are not given a floor. So if there's a maximum of what you can spend, and if you spend more than the maximum per year as a team, everything else goes into the luxury tax. You get taxed based on what you spend.
Got it.
So you get penalized. So like the Yankees and the Dodgers, who have the money, they can spend, but you're going to get taxed.
Got it.
There's no floor. So Pittsburgh or Kansas City or Tampa, they're like, well, we can spend $12 million on these bum players, and we're just going to send them out there.
Yeah.
But the problem is that all the money gets collected and goes in one pool and gets distributed between all 32 teams.
Yeah, because
so now your profits, even though your team sucks, your profits are huge.
Yeah.
Whereas the Yankees are marginalized.
Yeah.
So that's an issue right there. What do you think about that, E?
look, I mean, we've seen other sports where they do have a salary cap, and I think there's always been a disparity when you look at some of these big city teams, right? The Mets, the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Cubs, the Dodgers, you know. Yep. I mean, you're always going to see an issue where you got a team like the Rays and the Blue Jays and the Texas Rangers, even though they like to spend money.
They spend money.
The Colorado Rockies. I mean, you always, and it happens in every single sport where you're worried about who are the eyes going to go to? The eyes going to go to the actual fans of the teams, the good players. You know what I mean? So, but in baseball, it's so regional. It's so regional that you rarely, unless you're a fan of baseball and the MLB in general, you only know the players on your team or the players in your division. You know what I mean? So that's the thing, is that now you're looking at the fact that these guys you don't know who the hell's going to be on your team, because even if you do have a good team and you're one of these lower levels, these whatever you want to call, small market teams.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have any stars because they get sold off.
And this is an issue. I talked to one of my friends on Saturday, Miami. Yeah. This is a huge Hispanic market, especially very Cuban concentrated.
Absolutely.
There's a bunch of Cuban players. Yeah. There's a lot of Cuban players. And they don't draw any fans. And they put their stadium in Little Havana.
Yeah.
But they didn't incorporate the neighborhood. They didn't incorporate the culture as much. They didn't bring and say, hey, we want you to be part of the Miami Marlins. They didn't do that.
Yeah.
And that's an issue. You can't do that.
Florida in general is very bad at knowing how to market pro sports. You know what I mean? Because Florida is the weirdest.
Everyone's a transplant.
Place.
Everybody's a transplant. That's the issue.
And you got your Yankee fans down there, especially around Tampa. But I mean, like Florida, what do they always say about Florida? It's either newlyweds or almost dead. That's who lives in Florida. Okay,
right? Yeah.
And it's such a weird state because they're like, are we the South? I don't know, but I'm rednecky, but also I like meth. Yeah. And then like also I like Mad Dog 20. You know what I mean? Like, but give me some Cristal and like what? Yeah. It's the weirdest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, my dad lives in Florida. I love going down there to visit him, and Disney's cool. But I mean, if you go like a mile outside of Disney, watch out. Like, you better leave the Mickey Mouse ears at home, because it's so weird. And they do such a bad job at promoting their professional sports. I mean, aside from the Miami Heat, who pays attention to any sports in Florida that is professional? They love their college teams, but most of their college teams are Northern Florida, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Aside from the U, who cares about Florida sports? You know what I mean?
I don't,
and that's the thing, because that's another big market, Miami specifically.
Yes,
and they've done such a bad job of trying to bring in your Latino market down there. It's insane. I don't understand it.
Yeah, one thing about Miami, whenever I go to Miami, everybody here's the way I describe Miami and Los Angeles. In Miami, everybody just wrote a song.
No way.
And in Los Angeles, everybody just wrote a movie. I don't care who you meet, everywhere you go.
Here's my treatment. Read it.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody just wrote. Yeah, so it's interesting because, Miami is the only place we have not done well with our comedy shows.
Really?
Fort Lauderdale, Miami, we have not done well. On the other side, Orlando and Tampa, we've done very well, especially Orlando. I mean, at one point, and at the Shakespeare Theater there, we had about a 5-year run.
Wow.
And slammed the theater, the Orlando Shakespeare Theater. But in Orlando, in Miami, we literally could not. And then, of course, leave it to an old school Cuban guy. As we're having the conversation the next day after the show, he says, nobody's going to pay you to sit inside a theater in Miami. There's too many free things to do outside. There's too many things to do outside.
Prove them wrong.
But that's been my impression of Miami. Now, have you been to the Marlins Stadium?
No.
Okay,
no.
because you guys know that I don't travel around to go specifically to ball games. But when I was in Miami about 4 years ago, I got to go to the Marlins, and it was one hell of a party.
Really?
And I think that they're I don't know. Again, I just kind of thought, man, they put an awful lot of money here into the party.
They did.
And not too many people are really watching the game. But they put a lot of money into the party. There's one point, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but there's one point in center field where you're literally and women are literally in a pool.
Yeah, in a pool.
And so center field is a pool. And then throughout the park, there's all kinds of crazy stuff happening.
So that's why we don't see anybody in the stands.
That's exactly right. They're all up in the pool.
Oh, man. All right. What's what else are they talking about in these negotiations, Z?
I mean, there's a couple more things. Shared revenue changes. The players want more money on the table for them. They kind of want a 50-50 split. The reason for this is because you have teams now becoming real estate agents and real estate companies. You have the Cubs. They bought the entire neighborhood around them.
Absolutely.
And guess what? They're not reporting that income as part of their baseball income.
Wow.
You're using money that you generated to buy stuff on the outside, and now you're saying, oh, that's not part of it?
Wow.
You can't do that.
And you know what that really comes down to? That comes down to when I was talking about a couple years ago. Are they crying poor because when they got to the point where they said, what is this? Biblical losses. When they're talking about, Ricketts came out and says, this is the kind of money biblical losses.
Proportions, yeah.
Okay. Well, guess what? How did you basically mortgage your future? And granted, you didn't know what was going to happen with that COVID year, and I said it then. You didn't know that you were going to have, you weren't going to have your 80-game schedule and not have your income for those games at home. But at the same time, you mortgage that to say, okay, well, we have all this stuff here. We're going to be able to pay our players. We're going to be able to do the hell of whatever we want. But that's not included in the money that you're reporting as your income from the team.
Correct.
So you're making money off the back end because you're in proximity to Wrigley Field. You're bringing in all the people that want to come and see Wrigley from wherever they are in the world, but that's not being reported as part of your income. So where is that money going? You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing.
Well, the players saying if we don't play, you don't get any revenue.
That's
you ever go to Wrigleyville when there's no baseball? It's pretty dead.
Yeah.
Unless there's like a pop-up, Christmas and October, stuff. Yep. But just to wrap it up, MLB PA is still at 6 picks for amateur draft. MLB wants 5. Again, these are just small things that they can fix out. But the biggest thing is the floor, the collective bargaining agreement of the shared revenue. There's a couple things there that are sticking points. The other stuff that can get ironed out. The minimum wage. I think the players want $700,000 and the owners want $625 or $650. I mean, that could be ironed out.
So Z, who do you blame in this situation more? Do you blame the players or the owners?
No, you blame the owners. You blame the owners. The owners, what they're doing is they're being greedy. Like I said, with the being a real estate Mongol. I mean, just like at McDonald's. McDonald's doesn't sell you a burger. They sell real estate. They buy the land and they say, oh, you want to be a franchise owner? Sure. You can run the McDonald's with, and get all the marketing and all this stuff. We'll set that up for you. But you're going to pay the rent. You're going to pay the tax.
The more McDonald's you eat, the more real estate you take up. So, I mean, that's just a natural thing right there.
That's exactly right.
Look at Eddie got the funny bone today.
So, Mike, let me ask you. I mean, have you, with all the stuff that you do, all the comedians that you deal with, have you ever dealt with anything like this? Labor stoppages, strikes, or like contract negotiations?
No, I just don't pay anybody. I mean,
there we go.
I don't pay anybody. I write bad checks. I don't pay nobody shit. That's it. You want to tell jokes? Tell them.
You should be the mayor.
A really interesting thing, and there's a wonderful story, that people can look up about, about the Comedy Store in Los Angeles.
Oh yeah.
And how the comedians, all the comedians decided to walk out and say, hey, we're not being paid. and I still, let me just say this real quick. I still have an issue with that a little bit. Those comedians, every single one of those comedians on that walkout went on to do huge things. Jay Leno, David Letterman, I mean, all of those guys went on to do Saget, everybody went on to do huge things. A comedy club, a lot of times, is better, I look at it as like it's a gym. It's an opportunity for you to go out there and work out your materials
Correct.
for your next big thing. Look, I have amazing respect for all the comedians here in Chicago. All the comedians that work for me get paid. I don't pay a guy that we don't pay a guy that we've never seen that comes in off of the street that is just a guy trying to make it until they get about 10, 12 minutes. And then we start paying. Yesterday or a couple of days ago, a comedian said to me, I did a show in such and such town in suburban Illinois, and the guy gave me $150. Well, how much time did you do? I did 10 minutes. Well, you did 10 minutes in a market you've never been to for $150. If you would have done that at Joe's, I would have given you $50. I said, so, but again, it's just, everybody should be paid. But here, key thing, everybody should be paid in the development of your craft. So
gotta put your time in.
Comedians tell me all the time, you paid me $200 for that set. It's the same thing you paid me 4 years ago. That's correct. It's the same set from 4 years ago.
Yep.
So you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Complete sense.
But I don't judge them for that. And I don't knock them for that. If that's where you're at and that's where you want to stay, you want to stay. Another thing I've told comedians over the years. If 5 years later I'm the only show you're doing, you're not doing something right.
Right.
The name of the game is I've had comedians call me and tell me I can't do your show anymore because I'm booked with an agency now and I'm doing bigger things. I love to hear that. You ain't hurting my feelings. I'm doing exactly what it is I want to do. You need to do exactly what it is you want to do. But there's always got to be, you always, as a player, as an owner, as a comedy club, as whatever, you always have to know exactly where you're at, right? So I am worth this amount of money. But now, an agency may come out, whether it's a baseball agent or it's a comedy agent, may come out and tell that person, hey, don't worry about that. I'm getting you $7 million for your next show. So that guy is being coached into that money. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And at that point, that's just another level that, hopefully that person offering that $7 million can deliver that career. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There are many, many comedians and many actors that will pick up their phone. I'm sure it happens in baseball too, where a guy is promising a career.
That's Scott Boras. Scott Boras has the most top tier players, and he's known for being an asshole because he gets all the money for the players. He's all about the players. And I'm like, yeah, he works for the players. Yeah. So he's gonna say, don't sign here, don't sign in Detroit. I'll get you more money over here, even though it might be we'll get you more money in Baltimore. Well, I don't want to play in Baltimore. What do you want, money, or do you want to play where you want to play?
Yeah.
That's the end of the issue, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, do you want to work at Joe's and get notoriety, or do you want to get your $150 in Pontiac, Illinois?
And the key name when you say something like that, when I think about that, is Manny Machado. Manny Machado had all these offers from all these other teams, and all of a sudden he lands on the Padres before they had anybody. You know what I mean? So like that, and then what happens is that they got all these players and they ain't doing nothing with it, at least for last year. So I mean, like, it is interesting because I'll tell you, you gonna tell me that Manny Machado wanted to play in San Diego for the Padres, who've been at the bottom of the barrel for years? No. Yeah, you have Tatis and all these other players, but they're still not there yet. You know what I mean? And this is a guy that's supposed to be established. He's 30, 31 years old. Yeah. You should have gone to an established team. He would have been good on the White Sox, in my opinion.
He was supposed to come to the White Sox, but the San Diego said, we'll give you an extra $15 million per year.
Right. And now look at the situation you're in, because I think the White Sox, to me, is a better situation.
Way better situation.
I think I like San Diego, though. $15 million. I like it here. I like the Navy ships, and I like the shore. Esto está bien nice. I'm staying right here.
It's 70 degrees every day.
70 degrees every day. I'm going to sit here and enjoy myself. Ese cheque, ¿cuándo viene ese cheque? Is that check on the way? Right?
Every 2 weeks.
You know what I'm saying? Look, that's a lot of fucking money, man. And I'm going to tell you this. I have incredible respect for every single trade. And I'm going to just tell you, from the dishwasher to the dishwasher company owner, from the ball boy to the fucking best player in the game. But I think that there comes a point, right, where I have an issue with that top tier. of anything. Why? Because we have decided that it's okay to shit on poor people.
Yeah.
And do things in poor people neighborhoods and, to take shit over. You know what I mean? So I'm always going to be, I'm never going to be invited to those corporate meetings because I'm going to say, hell yeah, let's make $50 million. But we're not screwing the dishwashers, are we? We're not screwing the hot dog vendors, are we?
Right.
Yeah, no, we got to screw them. We got to screw them. And
I can't sleep at night.
No,
like
and
that.
I can't sleep on that.
I don't understand that.
No, and I can't sleep. And so, great story, really, really quick, of there's a famous musician, and I don't know how much you guys know about Latin music, but El Gran Combo.
Yeah.
And to make just to make it so it's relevant to the entire audience, a major band is performing in Mexico City. They get off the plane in Mexico City. They're performing in front of 50,000 people who've paid $125 a person to see them. And they get off the plane, and the management is the first off the plane. And when they get to the corridor of the airport, there's a guy in the airport selling merchandise from that band.
Okay.
And the guy walks over and says, yo, what are you doing here? Calls the band lawyer over. Look, these people, they're all pirating our stuff. And the main singer walks over and says, what's going on here? We got to go. The bus is waiting. No, these people are pirating our stuff. We got to call the police. We got to call the authorities. Shut this down. And the main singer says, give me 4 of those, 5 of those, 6 of those, 7 of those, 4 of those, and buys $1,000 worth of merchandise right then and there on the spot.
Right.
The guy says, what are you doing? And he looks at him and he says, let him eat.
Yeah.
Let him eat.
I have enough on my plate. Let him eat.
We're making $600,000 tonight.
Yeah.
Let him eat. They're trying to eat.
Yeah, that's all we're trying to do.
That's a hell of a perspective, and that comes from the artist himself. And that's the problem, is that a lot of times the people that are actually performing, when it comes to the players, when you talk about Scott Boras, who is the one putting that in place, that he can only take this money?
Scott
It's
Boras.
him.
Yeah.
It's not the player. It's not the performer. It's not the person who's actually doing the action that is worth the money.
But you're also hiring that shark to do that for you.
Yeah.
So it's a double-edged sword.
Well, it's a double-edged sword, but you have to have some type of conscience when it comes down.
Definitely.
to it. You know
Most
what I mean?
definitely.
And when you talk about all the bodyguards around the player, and you're going to get that player, it's like, get out of here, you big monkey! Give me that kid's shoe. Let me see.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things we want to bring the whole thing full circle. You talk about a guy like LeBron James. Michael Jordan will not give you an autograph to save your life, but LeBron James started schools for kids to make sure they get scholarships to go to college, and he sees you and he's signing everything because he was that broke kid back in the day.
Yeah.
And you have to have some type of perspective to understand not only the feelings of the player, the managers, your agent, but who is the one that quote unquote pays your salary. It's the team. Where is the team getting the money from? The team's getting the money from marketing, from merchandise, from all that stuff, from the guys who come through those gates and buy the hot dogs and all that stuff. Those are the people that are paying your salary when it comes down to it. And you have to have respect and perspective. What is it like for those people to come into your stadium, to come into your venue and watch you perform and do your craft? That is the most important thing, because those are the people that make your business run.
Yeah, I think, for the most part, and I know we got to go, but for the most part, I won't survive these corporate rooms, and I'll probably be, broke for the rest of my life, because I'm a product of food stamps and roaches, and I'm a product of government
Likewise.
cheese. I'm a product of all of that. And so I want to make some money, but, at a very small level, we have, my philosophy in the last 20 years have always been the same. People say, oh, my God, you're so generous. You do this in Chicago. You do that. You help here. You help there. You help there. No. When you're hungry, you never forget that shit. Mm-hmm. And so it's impossible for me to go into the community, make money, and not put some back.
Exactly.
So last thing before we end this segment here, I know you're not a huge sports fan. I know, like I said, because anyone who's Latino has a little bit of anyone that's brown or black has some baseball in them, right?
And he grew up in Wrigleyville.
Absolutely. So, 3406 North Halstead.
Wow. Damn. So what do you think is the most important thing for both of these sides to agree on in order to get back on track?
Yeah, agree on to try to remember that whether you're on the business side or you're on the player side, just remember that at the end of the day, we work for the person. In my shows, I always tell the comedian, we work for the people sitting in these seats. So you need some, I need some, let's all be happy. But at the end of the day, We work for the people sitting in the seats. And how can we make this happen so that it works for everybody and keeps it fair? No way a guy should be making $625,000 and another guy should be making $43 million. In the meantime, because we can't get along, the people selling popcorn at $16 an hour, they're not going to work this summer.
Well, the beer vendors get paid. They buy their case, and then they sell the case, and the difference they keep plus their tip. So there was a fund set up for these people by the MLB players. Yes. They set up a $1 million fund. I'm like, that doesn't fund more than two teams.
No, that's crazy. $1 million? No way. That's nuts. And the beer companies should get involved, and everybody should be involved. I mean, again,
all the advertisers should be like, hey, you know what? We're going to support everybody who works on the field and the guys who clean up the stadium and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You got to take care of our people.
So basically what it comes down to is that the 99% of these players need to remember
where you came from.
That's exactly
right.
Let
everybody eat.
That's exactly right. And there's a major difference, I think, between, this is my observation. I can get beat up or I can be shut up about this, but this is my observation. There is a major difference between, hockey, a hockey mom, a baseball mom, and a basketball mom.
Yep.
There's a very clear difference.
Yes.
All right. And I've had this argument with people, and I would say pick 10 baseball players, 10 hockey players, and 10 basketball players, and I'll show you the difference in social economic background.
1,000%.
Yep. Because what do you need to play basketball?
A ball and a hoop.
That's it.
That's it.
Soccer.
And that's
ball.
what it comes down to.
That's all you need.
So like I said, the main thing, remember where you came from.
Absolutely.
And that's the bottom line.
And that's the bottom line.
We all know that 2020 was no joke, and with an ever-changing world climate, many people are looking for a new opportunity. Guys, are you looking for a career that rewards effort and makes you feel valued as a team member? Let me tell you a little about our friends at ACSI. ACSI is a certified RCN business agent. They provide the same RCN services with a personalized touch. Their sales and technician teams work hand in hand, ensuring your experience will be smooth and pleasant. Gone are the days of being transferred from one person to the next. At ACSI, they handle everything from start to finish. It's never been so easy to get internet service. ACSI is a growing Chicagoland company that encourages personal growth and rewards perseverance. As they expand, they're looking for passionate, responsible, and honest professionals to join their team. A career with ACSI means you'll be part of a hardworking, flexible, and dynamic team that is a leader in the installation of cable and internet services in the Chicagoland area. Best of all, ACSI was awarded Hacia's 2020 Contractor of the Year Award. Are you ready to grow with a local Chicago company on the rise? Check out acsi.tech and click on careers to get started. That's acsi.tech and click on careers.
Hey, this is Mikey O, and you're listening to the True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast. Don't forget to visit Mikey O at Mikey O Show or www.MikeyOShow.com.
Welcome back to the True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast with E-Rock and Big Z.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. It's that time again, brother.
Uh-oh.
You know what time it is.
Oh, boy.
It's time for Stirring the Pot. Mikey O, thank you for joining us. And this is the last segment. I know you're busy. So we got to get you out of here. But since you are the food connoisseur,
yeah,
forgive me, Father, because we are all fat here.
Absolutely. Forgive me, Father, for I am fat, baby.
What is the weirdest thing that you like to eat?
That not other people like.
Right, yeah.
The weirdest thing that I like to eat, and I'm going to tell you that it is so funny you're asking today, because I had this sandwich in Louisiana about 5 years ago. Friday, I found out they had it in Wisconsin. Yesterday, I drove up there.
Oh, wow.
And yesterday, I had a beef tongue Reuben.
Oh, that's right.
Beef
I did see you post
Reuben
that.
In a place called Bavette's in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I took the drive. I told my son, get up. I read it on a feed. I said, get up, and we're out. We went up there. Let me tell you something. You need to go to Bavette's in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the 3rd Ward District, and you need to have a beef tongue, lengua, beef tongue, Reuben sandwich.
All right. So before, so Z, I'm going to put this on you. Are you eating
This beef tongue Reuben sandwich.
So I'm gonna make this real quick. I stopped eating beef tongue about 10 years ago, but the man next to me knows what he eats, man. He knows good food. So I'm gonna go to Wisconsin next time he goes. I'm gonna go with him, and I'm gonna try this Reuben.
No, we're all gonna go, and we're gonna go live from.
I love it. I love it.
And I'm gonna tell you what. We go up to Wisconsin, and you can eat that shit. And you can eat that shit. I am not trying to make out with a sandwich. I don't even know tongue on a sandwich. I cannot do it.
Man.
I can't do it. Just the concept of it. There's certain things. The concept of you know what it reminds me of? Biting your tongue and be like, maybe this is gonna be good. Like I can't. The concept of it is just too gross.
A beef tongue sandwich, man. I'm gonna tell you something right now. Okay. Seriously, it is an amazing sandwich. Beef tongue Reuben sandwich. You gotta have it, and I can't even explain it. But here's what we're gonna do. All right, the next time there's a game out there, basketball or baseball, we're gonna do this. We're gonna go to Milwaukee.
Okay.
And we're gonna make 3 stops for food.
Okay.
And we're gonna do the sports and the food segment. Chicago visiting Milwaukee.
Beautiful.
Because here's the thing. There are some when people talk about Milwaukee all the time, they always tell me what? Bratwurst.
Yep.
Bratwurst, yeah.
I'm good with that.
Cheese.
But Papa, Milwaukee, you're the leaders of the beef tongue sandwich. Talk about that.
Come on, Eddie, you got to be good with the lengua, bro.
Yeah, I'm good with the language, not on my sandwich.
You had me at Meat Tornado.
Before we go, what you looking at? What are you watching that isn't sports?
Man, there's a couple things that I've been watching. One, I started watching Picard because all my shows are like either done or on hiatus.
Okay.
A little bit of a Trekkie, and I'm a big fan of Patrick Stewart.
Jean-Luc Picard.
Exactly.
Of the Starship Enterprise.
That's exactly right.
Going where no mind has gone before.
Yeah, he's Admiral Picard at this point.
These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise.
My favorite from the Next Generation was Deanna Troi.
Ooh-wee.
Oh, I love her. Yeah, go ahead.
Eddie just put on his VR helmet, ladies and gentlemen. He's exiting the room.
my pod.
This morning, I watched one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life, Fast and Furious 9.
I live my life a quarter mile at a time.
Yeah, well, that was your fault. I told you. I
know you told me.
I've been warning you about this for 2 years. I don't want to hear nothing. Don't even.
And I just saw it because it came up on HBO. The reason I saw it is because there's a couple actors, young actors that are from other shows that are in it. And there's the backstory of Toretto's dad, which was actually interesting. If it would have been just based on that, on the kind of like the prequel showing how Toretto's dad died and the relationship between him and his brother, it would have been fine. But they had to go and put the only 2 black characters they have and put those motherfuckers in space.
Okay, so let me tell you something. I read the synopsis of this movie right here.
There was no synopsis. It was stupid.
Let me pull it up right quick. Okay,
oh my God.
Here it is. And I quote, and that was it. That's the whole thing. You made a bad decision, my friend. That's what you did.
I watched it to say I watched it. And then the last thing that I did.
Such a weird thing to say.
Yes, dude. Yes, because you're on the pod all the time.
It's a podcast, thank you.
Oh, okay. I didn't get to finish it. I got about 40 minutes left, which is Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds. Yeah. It's Ryan Reynolds being Ryan Reynolds. Yeah. So you're going to love that, the sarcastic asshole.
What?
Yeah, exactly. And it's a pretty good storyline because it's like he's a video game, a non-playable.
Okay, do you want me to explain it?
Yeah, give me that nerd shit. Yeah.
So yeah, he's the non-playable character.
Thank you.
He's an NPC.
Yes.
And basically he becomes self-aware that he's a character in a video game.
Because the programmers that wrote the video game that was sold to this company.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyways, it's a great story. It's literally like watching Grand Theft Auto and on TV. So it's really good. It's really good. I recommend it. What are you watching, E?
Oh, man.
Damn, that's a lot.
Yeah. Bro, Euphoria, man. I watched Euphoria. the last season right here. A lot of controversy about the writing and about the nudity and about the sexualizing teenagers and so on and so forth. But I mean, if you have not watched Euphoria, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you go and catch the show because it is
great writing.
It is so grimy and just
great writing.
It's 100% a soap opera. I mean, it's a soap opera about drug addicts. I mean, that's really what it is. I mean, but it's so entertaining. So if you haven't had a chance to check that out, I won't spoil the final episode, but you better get on your shit because I'm gonna want to talk about that next week.
I already seen it.
No, I thought you didn't.
No, I saw it.
Oh, you did.
It was a cliffhanger at the end.
Oh yeah, okay.
I was talking about ruin it for everybody else.
So I'm gonna give everyone a 3-second head start.
1, 2.
Bro, is he dead?
No. He is not dead. No way he's dead.
Oh man,
he's not dead.
Damn. Really?
I don't think he's dead.
I don't know, man. The whole thing with the shooting the young kid and all that stuff. I mean,
hey man, that kid's a wild buck.
Shit.
Yeah.
So now, what do you think about Rue and the drug dealer? Because they didn't clean that up.
They didn't clean that up.
They didn't clean that up, and they left it. We're like, well, Rue, you're gonna owe me some money, and you don't look like you're in a position to pay me. And then
she did sell her. She drugged her and sold her to those guys. That's why she had to break out of the house. Doing those crazy white boys. Remember they went with guns. One was sleeping on the couch, one was on the bed. So she did.
I thought she was still in the house.
No, that's a different house.
Oh,
she
shit.
broke out of that through the window.
Yeah.
She did sell her off.
Oh shit! I thought
that was the episode. That was the episode prior.
Okay.
Yeah, I
saw that, and I was still because I even
it looked weird
reading the articles about it. And I was like, well, I mean, okay, so I guess
I watched each episode twice.
No, a pawn shop. Yeah.
No, I watched it twice, and
okay,
and that made sense. But there's a lot of stories, and guess what? The next season doesn't come out for over 2.5 years, or over 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, with all the filming and shit like that, and then
they she has movies and stuff like that.
She's got movies. They got to write the stories and all that stuff. So yeah, but I'm looking forward to season 3. Another thing that I actually started watching this morning. It's called Making Fun, and basically these are like carpenters and engineers and things like that. That basically it's a show where they watch a video. They talk to these kids through Zoom, and if the kid has like a cool invention that is a feasible thing, they're like, all right, fuck it, let's see if we can make it. So the first one that I saw was a kid that wanted to make a T-Rex that shot tacos out of his mouth. So they actually made a giant T-Rex with the teeth and everything. One guy was the guy that works the lathe to make the teeth, and you got your model and all this shit. And when they basically made a giant T-Rex out of like foam and wood base, and they made a conveyor belt, and they put tacos on the conveyor belt, and it literally comes and falls out of his mouth. Super cool, really funny idea, cool concept. If you have kids, or if you just were adventurous or imaginative at all, this is definitely a funny show. And a movie that I watched last night that really, really threw me through the loop.
Was that with the VR set or without the VR set?
I said, anyway, so this movie is called Sorry to Bother You. This is absolutely the weirdest movie that I have seen in a long time. There's a lot of people in it. Lakeith Stanfield, Tessa Thompson is in this. Stephen Yeun, who was Glenn from Walking Dead. Armie Hammer's in it. Danny Glover has a short little role in it. So there's a few people that you would recognize. David Cross is a voice in it. But yeah, this is one of the weirdest movies I've ever seen. The synopsis is: in an alternate reality of present-day Oakland, California, telemarketer Cassius Green finds himself in a macabre universe after he discovers a magical key that leads to material glory. As Green's career begins to take off, his friends and co-workers organize a protest against corporate oppression. Cassius soon falls under the spell of Steve Lift, a cocaine-snorting CEO who offers him a salary beyond his wildest dreams. Yeah, man, you want to talk about taking a left turn at Albuquerque? This shit took a left turn at Oakland, California, because this is one of the weirdest fucking things I've ever seen in my life. And I'll tell you what, I will not tell you why it was weird, because this is one of those things where you have to see it to believe it. I cannot explain it.
Where can we watch this?
This is on Netflix right now.
You watch all your shit on Netflix, don't you?
It was random. It was Netflix and HBO is what I watch.
Okay. You're that person that says, okay, that's my profile. Click OK. Netflix, play something.
Nah.
Because that's pretty much what it sounds like.
It was on my list, but it was one of those things. I'm sure like movies with like similar actors had been on my list before.
That'll do
like,
it. Yeah.
If you like that,
you'll like this.
You'll like this.
Yeah.
And yeah, bro. Yeah.
Was that a Bugs Bunny reference there?
Fuck yeah, it was. Are you serious?
That's what I give it a while for our listeners to maybe catch on to it.
That was a very intentional Bugs Bunny reference. I should have took a left turn at Albuquerque. Yeah, absolutely. Are you fucking kidding me? But yeah, I mean, like, if you are weird and also like to do drugs and also are weird, definitely check out that movie and make sure you do the drugs because otherwise it won't make any sense. I could kind of say the same about Euphoria, but
yeah, definitely drop some acid to watch Euphoria. Wow.
Man. But yeah, I mean, yeah. So you got some homework to do this week.
I'm off tomorrow.
Oh, this son of a bitch.
I get one a month apparently so far.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. But ladies and gentlemen, we have some shit to do.
Yes, we do.
Mikey O has got something going on, and we're gonna go check him out. So
yeah, he's we finished the podcast, and now we got to go see Mikey O, and we'll report back next week on how the show was.
Absolutely. So, all right, guys, that is it for today. Thank you so much for listening. A big thank you to our sponsors: 606 Media, True Chicago Sports Fans, ACSI, and Grit Clothing Company. Don't forget to go to gritclothingco.com and get your official TCSF podcast T-shirt. Search for keyword True Chicago and use our promo code TrueFan15 to check out for 15% off of your entire order. That's TrueFan15. Go and get your shirts right now. Don't forget to visit our guy Danny and his crew at acsi.tech and check out their career section to start an exciting new career in the communications industry. Go to acsi.tech, that's acsi.tech, and click on careers to apply today and get your 2022 going in the right direction. A big thank you to today's guest, Mikey O. Came through in studio and kicked it with us for a while. Check him out, MikeyOShow.com, or check out Joe's on Weed Street for his show schedule. He's got all types of stuff going on, music, comedy. He got the cigar socials going on, so definitely go check him out. And of course, shout out to our friends at the Some of This and Some of That podcast with Coach Mo and Justice. I think they're already on like episode 30. They're over there killing it. Check them out on your favorite streaming service. And don't forget to check out the Shy Native Radio podcast, now available on all major platforms. Mike Logic, Ideal, and Throw MC talk about sports, movies, and all types of ill shit. Go and check them out right now. And don't forget to check out Mike Logic's album. As I was saying, it's out there on mikelogic.bandcamp.com, MICLOGIK.bandcamp.com. Logic with the K's back. Go and get your copy right now. His music video, Solo, is now also available to watch on YouTube. Shout out to Ronesh, Panic, Serious Beats, and Custom Made for the beats we play on today's show. Check out paniconthebeat.com for all your Moleman merch and gear. And make sure you check out this absolutely dope collaboration from Serious Beats and Custom Made. The new beat tape Treasured Paintings is available now. Check out SeriousXBeats.com, SeriousXBeats.com. Check out one of my favorite tracks, Burr versus Philly. Got this cool little soul funk 70s vibe, and you know, that's my groove, that's my jam. When you come to the house, you know what I'm playing, so go and check them out. And don't forget to check us out on social media. You can find us at True Shy Fans on Twitter. That's at True CHI Fans on Twitter and on TikTok. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify. Hit the DMs with your stirring the pot,
yes, sir.
Ideas, recommendations, your movies, and all that stuff, and just tell us what you think about the show. And as always, you can reach us on our email at truechicagosportsfans@gmail.com. All right, y'all, for Big Z, this is E-Rock. We'll see you next week for episode 87. Tom Waddle, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Until then, be good to each other.
For the love of sports.
Swish.
A few moments later.
You have a lot of incest.
That's real.
Shut your mouth.
Lover boy.
Nature versus nurture, Lodge. Nature always wins.
I think he's on steroids.
Hasta luego, amigos. That's all. I shouldn't have had those artichoke poppers.